Hello there, BookTube, and welcome to this live version of Friday Reads with myself, Mark, and ShawnDStandfast. It's a bit impromptu. I don't know if anybody's watching because it was rather a late decision. But, we like to keep you on your toes and surprise you. And there's nobody here, Shawn, so you can say what you like. It's really zero.
It'll go up as our Friday Reads, which is fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The funny thing is, we can. I mean, obviously, it is. You can stream to 2 YouTube channels. I was looking at that. Well, yeah, but it involves, either you having my password or me having yours. Because you just set it up like the 2 what's-it. So, yeah, give me yours, and I can steal all your revenue. So, hey, Sonia, good to see you. Hey there.
Cool.
One of my buddies for Les Miserables. How are you getting on with it today, Sonia? Are you on? Because she's a little bit, not much, but because I have to say, Sonia, I think book 6 is quite short, so you'll catch up in no time. Because I'm obviously doing this at the moment instead of reading it, so you have a moment to catch me up. We got 2 people here now, and one of them's Sonia, so don't know who the other one is. Reveal yourself.
No, it's not that.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, not you, Shawn. I meant the second person who's watching. Yeah, but so yeah, as I say, we're reading Les Miserables, and it's great. I actually think I've fallen in love with it now. Just 250, 260 pages in, and it's really a good read, I have to say. It'd be nice. As I say, I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, that translation too. Different edition, but same translation. I don't know, as I say, how good the translation is in comparison to others, but I'm really enjoying it. Summer and I are reading the same one, and Sonia's reading a different one. So,
which one's she reading?
Hey, MP. Sonia, can you let us know which one you're reading again? I've forgotten. What we got here, MP Hunt, watching from work. 15-hour night shift just starting. Wow. Well, I'm not sure this is what you want to watch before you start your shift. Might send you off to sleep.
Well, I can show it's a second edition of the first UK translation of Les Miserables, rebound, quarter leather, and nice marble papers.
Any illustrations or?
I don't think so. No.
And would they have bought it as a set, or one would have been released and then you bought the other one and then bought the other one? Or?
As a set, because it was just common to have 3-volume novel. Like Frankenstein was a 3-volume novel, and it's only 70 or 80 pages long. Like the print must have been this big on the page,
Well, it's like we were talking about it yesterday, weren't we? About how they just don't do that with a lot of English works these days. Yeah. And it's a shame because it's so much more manageable. I mean, if you want to read on the bus, it's much easier to take, 1 volume of Les Miserables than the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, but then I suppose it can be protection against anyone who tries to mug you or something, I suppose. Just beat them over the head with it. So got plenty of energy drinks to keep you going. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So you've moved on to the ebook version. So because last I heard you got a sample of it, so I guess you decided to buy it, yeah. And now the physical copy is by Lee Fanistock. I don't know. Do you know that one, Shawn? Is it one that escapes your? Because you've read it in 5 or 6 different translations.
No, I haven't read them all. That's the thing. I've only read 2 different ones, and I started with one time. I'm trying to think because there was was that the That's not the Signet one, is it? Or is that the Modern Library? That's the name just is not ringing a bell for some reason.
Maybe it's just some bloke. We
But
just
yeah,
got,
quote the publisher, because then I can more identify, I guess.
come on, Sonia, you're not that old.
Because I must have it, because I'm missing one. I'm missing one because it's
Signet.
Signet. Okay, yeah. That I think is Signet, the one that they've updated the American the first American translation by Charles somebody, I think. I can't remember. It's sort of it's relies heavily, I think, on that one, but I could be wrong. Memory.
So what is what and who is Signet then? Where do they fall in these classic editions? I don't know much about them. Are they American only, or?
Mostly, I think, yeah. But that's not a very good translation from what I remember. That's the one I started. Another one I started and I put it down because I thought it was quite clunky, and I just I didn't have the time to fiddle with it. See, my thought was to take all the translation and just read chapter by chapter in each one, and then sort of make a note of all the differences and the nuances that are changed. But it really would work properly only if you could read the French first and then do it. But I can't.
Well, when you're on your desert island, you can learn French, can't you? So
Yeah,
you have the
I need
time.
another edition.
Yeah, I do wonder. It would be interesting because, of course, in French there would only be one edition, wouldn't there?
Yeah. Well, I think it went through a few revisions.
Right.
So there are a bit of change of things, and I'm not sure. Did he serialize it as well? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I didn't read any of the introduction. I didn't want to know too much going in, so I literally just went
Okay,
into the
yeah.
book. It's one of those books where I know I'm going to have to go back and go through things that I've highlighted or bookmarked or saved for later. As I was saying to you earlier, like the whole chapter on the year 1817 seems fascinating, but I just read through it and avoided as much as possible all the interesting stuff because it has no bearing on the story. I want to get the book read and then I can go back and look at all the incidentals. But
I'll be reading the introduction because I've read it. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it's certainly. I mean, I think I said in the group to them that it's an emotional roller coaster, but it isn't really because there's not so many ups. It's mostly downs, and then keeps going down and down and down. But
where are you at the moment? Like, what's he doing?
Yeah, well, there is some humor in it at points, and her style of translation, at least, whether or not it's Hugo's style or not, does keep it still. As I was saying, it's very depressing, but it keeps you reading. It doesn't make me dread going back to it. In fact, I thirst to go back to it. So where am I at the moment? I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Well, I'm assuming she probably dies because it's depressing enough. But what's her name? Fantine.
Fantine, yeah.
She's lying in her sick bed, and Jean Valjean has just hired a trap and pony to race 50 miles to bring Cosette back to her. But I'm just thinking, I will be so upset if Fantine dies before Cosette gets there. But of course, given the tone of the book, oh my God!
I won't tell you. But
oh my God, Sonia, I'm so sorry.
But at this point, she must not have any teeth or hair left at this point as well.
I don't know if even Sonia knows that. Well, I don't know if she's dying, Sonia. She's sick. That's not a spoiler. She's sick. I'm just assuming she's dying because it's called The Wretched. So, but it just seems like this poor woman, can it get any worse? I was bawling my eyes out at work. It was, my colleagues were like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. It's just so sad." This poor Fantine. So, oh, phew. Okay, right. By me.
Oh yeah, I really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to reading again. And I guess, did you want to go through what you read this week, or like we could talk Well, you're talking about that so far because you're
Well,
reading.
yeah, I mean that's been a big part of my week of reading. Also, as you know, because you're in it in most of the things I'm in as well. We've both been reading. I suppose it's easier to talk about it. You finished it. I haven't quite finished it. Is Mr. Midshipman Hornblower?
Yeah.
You finished it. I've read it before, so you're not spoiling anything for me. But like, what did you think?
Oh, I really like it, but it's fanciful. It's overly romantic in the large R sense, and it's like well, I think Michael K. Vaughan said in the thing, it's like he can't do anything, even the mundane things, without something happening. You know?
Though to be fair for Michael, that was a positive for him.
Yeah,
I got the impression, yeah. So I agree. I mean, it is fantastic, but it's just good old fashioned kind of like swashbuckling, fun, isn't it? Really,
I think it's really made for a teenage boy in a sense. It's written for a teenage boy to read.
Basically,
yeah.
Basically, it is. Here it is.
Pop up a lung.
Yeah. You got to give up that 60 a day, Sean.
Yeah.
60 a day, 60 grams of garlic powder a day.
Yeah.
Sonia, yeah, it wouldn't be a good idea maybe to read a tearjerker on the elliptical.
Yeah, the way Hornblower ends in the 20th century, he would be charged for aiding and abetting the enemy, regardless. Like, there's no way, and it was just too fanciful. Of I don't do we spoil it here or not?
I don't know. What is the etiquette on spoilers? I mean, it's 1950. It's 1950.
Yeah.
I think most people, if they were going to read Hornblower, they may well have done so by now. Well, look, okay. Sean's going to spoil something here. If you don't want to hear it, mute it, but watch. And when I do a thumbs up, it means you can listen again. Okay? 3, 2, 1, mute. Sean, go for it.
Well, Hornblower gets captured, and he's a prisoner on an island, and then he gets promoted to lieutenant while he's there. So then he gets special privileges as a POW, and he gets liberty for 2 hours a day that he could walk around the town. It's like that's even unheard of, And then there's a Spanish ship that's being chased by a British frigate, I think it is, and it crashes on the rocks, and they the British sort of destroy it, but it's in a storm, and the sailors are trapped there. They're going to die. So he says, let me help you save them. So he gets a boat and goes out, and he saves. There's only 3 left alive. 2 actually survive, but they get picked up by the British. So, and then he's still on his liberty, and there was he gave his word to say that after he helps us out, he'll go back to prison. So, but he's on the British ship, and he says, "Oh, sorry, Captain, I gave my word. I have to go back to prison." So he goes back to prison, and that's where it ends. And it's like, first of all, as I say, he's aiding and abetting the enemy, even though, he saved some of their lives. But as it says, he's risked 10 people's lives to save 2. The odds aren't the greatest there for that, especially the thing. But okay, heroic, yes, that makes sense. But this is a time of war, and he's doing this off his own back. And in the 20th century, that would be aiding and abetting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, part of that isn't that far-fetched, though, because they did give their parole, as they call it.
Oh, I know. That's what I mean. Things were different. That's
so he would have been able to have those free 2 hours or whatever and taken them on his word. However, I'm not sure in a real situation how many people would have actually just gone back, even if they gave their word, even in that time.
Well, or would they have allowed him to do this, as well, saying, "Oh yeah, go ahead."
The thing is, what would outrank his word? Like a direct order from a senior officer, it should give him the opportunity to say, well, I gave my word as far as I was able, but I can't refuse an order, from a king's officer or whatever. So yeah, I know what you mean. It's very different, as I said, to we're talking about the Aubrey Maturin. I mean, there's so much more realism in those books, and they are wonderful. But Hornblower is what it is, and it's fun, and it is, as you say, a book primarily aimed at teenage boys, or probably preteen boys at the time the first one was written. I mean, it was in I think the first one was like 1930 something, and this one comes along 1950, and it's suffering a little bit, not as much, but you haven't got to Sackett's Land yet, have you?
No, I haven't read that one. That'll be next week.
Well, the risk of I'll put up my thumb now for the spoilers over for Hornblower, but I don't know if I'm spoiling it for you, but you heard the messages probably, and you'll obviously draw your own conclusions. But Sackett's Land to me does suffer from what Mark was talking about as well. This whole idea that it's the first book in a series that's written later on in the series, and you'll see what I mean. I'm sure you'll pick it up. I wouldn't say it's like not worth reading, but there are just a lot of times where you'll just go, what, really? And some of the historical facts seem a bit sketchy or extremely unrealistic as well, But I'm very intrigued to see what you think about it. I really fell in love with Louis L'Amour during the June on the Range. Yeah, I thought the cowboy stories, they're all the same. There's a formula for sure. Yeah. But they were great fun, and they were well written. The ones I read, I think Steve Donahue said, it might have been Steve Donahue, or it might have been Michael K. Vaughan, said in one of their videos for June on the Range that Louis L'Amour did suffer from this, kind of maybe victim of his own success, and the fact that he went on so long and he wrote so much that a lot of the later stuff is a bit pants. So yeah, but I mean, you can't, when you write that much, you're bound to have some crap in there, aren't you? I'm not saying Sackett's Land's not crap, but you're bound to have some stuff. Not everything's going to be a hit, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't know how many I read, and I won't know until I hit them because I don't remember titles or anything. I've read maybe 4, maybe 5 of the Sackett's, and I've read maybe a 10 or a dozen other ones, and I just don't remember, because they're the type of thing. It's like P.G. Wodehouse. It's like you read one, it's the same plot, like he just reused the plot, And then Amy at the Dusty Bookshelf, she read some Louis L'Amour over Christmas, and she said that one of the books that she read, there was a Sackett that showed up, sort of comes in off the trail. This is how it sounded like: comes in off the trail, rides with the guy a little while, and then rides off again. And he made a Sackett made an appearance. Hello, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron. Yeah, I've never read the Sackett's. It's completely first time for me. So, see, I mean, it's the first at the moment non-Western, but I think obviously it's going to go down that road as the series goes on. Well, it's called Book Time with Elvis, you see. So if you hear all this incidental background noise, that's who's responsible.
Well, did you ever watch? There was a series or a bunch of movies that were on. They did a Sackett's.
No, I never watched it.
I remember watching that. I don't remember too much about it. But I don't know. I'm getting confused. I think maybe Tom Selleck was in it, but then I think I'm getting that confused with Quickly Down Under.
Or maybe you're thinking Tom Sackett.
Possibly.
Yeah. So that's 2 of the things, isn't it? So Les Miserables, Hornblower, and Sackett. I have started all of them. I'm closest to finishing Hornblower. I think I've got 1 chapter left. But I'm actually, to be fair, I'm doing that on audiobook. And so, yes, I agree with you, Sean. It's not reading. It counts as reading in terms of ticking it off, because I'm not going to read it after I've listened to it because I'm listening to someone else read it. But I wouldn't call it reading. Yeah, of course it's not. You're not doing. It's a different process, but you're still getting the information from the page into your head. So I'm happy to always tick it off my Goodreads list, right? And it's good. And I will say what's nice about it, and I noticed I think at least the first 3 of those are free on Audible, without credit. And they're quite the narrator's pretty good, actually, I have to say. So I'm pleased about that. Unfortunately, the Sackets are not on there because I thought, that'd be a good one to have as an audiobook. But now our version of Les Mis was on there, and I was thinking of spending my first credit on that. But I don't know. I'm never sure with audiobooks whether to trust a multicast production. I always think the charm of audiobooks, and it really highlights an actor's, because they usually get actors, of course, to do it, ability when they do the whole thing themselves and they take out, they do all the voices, all the characters and things like that. In fact, I think I read somewhere that, do you know who did the American version of the Harry Potter books on audiobook?
No, I know who did the English one, but I don't know who did the American one.
Well, the American one actually is also an Englishman.
Oh, okay.
How good are you on really cheesy, crappy English films of the 1960s and 70s?
Not Leslie Phillips, was it?
No, it wasn't Leslie Phillips, but you're in the right area. Younger than Leslie Phillips.
The guy with the big gap in his teeth, Terry Thomas.
No. Younger than them. Did you ever watch any of the Carry-Ons?
Oh yeah, not Sid James, or was it what's his name that was on Just a Minute?
No. This guy's still alive, and I say he's much younger. I mean, it means that he's in his mid-80s as opposed to being dead like the rest of them. Jim Dale, he was always the young one.
Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah,
and I have to say, and I know this might be sacrilegious for a lot of English people. I listened to both versions, and Stephen Fry is wonderful, but Jim Dale is absolutely fantastic. And apparently, he holds a record, I think, unless it's been surpassed, from doing those as being the voice actor to have done the most different character voices in a single work of anybody, without any kind of repetition. So, Now, you see, Sonia, you know that, and that's funny because I think Jim Dale has an entirely different persona in the US to what he had in England, how he's remembered by English people. Because I think he went on and did stuff on Broadway, and maybe he married an American, which is why he ended up there. Have you ever seen any of his early English films, Sonia? I'd be very curious.
Well, it's sort of like the guy who sung in Les Mis. What's his name?
Russell Crowe?
No, Les Miserables.
The song.
They sung in the Broadway.
Yeah.
Not Russell Crowe.
Oh no, it wasn't Les Mis. It was Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, sorry.
Betty.
Yeah. And it's like people are not gonna they know for that. They're not gonna know Frank Spencer, which is actually filmed, and there's scenes right outside my door here.
Well, I can well imagine it. But you see, that's the thing. And that's why I do think there is quite a good caliber of British actors, or at least they were, because they could do this gamut of really crappy, cheesy comedy to Shakespeare.
Yeah,
the versatility. Sorry?
BBC Shakespeare proved that.
Yeah. So Sonia said she loved Jim Dale's narration and spoiled you for anyone else. Well, I have to say I agree. I mean, I do like Stephen Fry very much, but Jim Dale did a very, very good job of that. She hasn't seen any of his early stuff. Aaron, of course, knows Jim Dale mainly for the Carry On film, so it really depends on who you ask. Whether you ask an English person, do you know Jim Dale? Oh yeah. An American, oh yes, good Broadway actor, very And Aaron says Tom Selleck was in it along with Sam Elliott. There was also a TV movie based on another Louis L'Amour book where they effectively play the same characters as they played in the Sacketts. Well, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I thought it was, but then all I had in my mind was Quigley Down Under, though.
Yeah. Well, Elvis too. I mean, one of his toys for Christmas, he'd already ripped it open and was pulling out the stuffing, so I had to remove the squeaker before he ate it. So, but Sonia, if you don't know the Carry On films, maybe go to YouTube at some point, type in Jim Dale Carry On, and then it might give you a slightly different impression of him. But I mean, I love them. I mean, kids. I don't know about kids today.
Actually, now I want to hear what's his name. What's his name? The guy I said.
Sid James?
No, not Sid James. The second one that I
Kenneth
said.
Williams?
Yeah, Kenneth Williams. I want to hear Kenneth Williams do. He can't, but I want to hear him do Harry Potter. Then I would listen to that.
but there is the link. Although he was only in like a couple of the Carry On films, Leslie Phillips, he was in Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, he was. He's the hat, isn't he?
He was the Sorting Hat, exactly. And of course, rest in peace. He died, didn't he, a couple of months ago?
Ding dong.
Ding dong, yeah. And I love the Navy Lark with it. Left hand down a bit, right hand up a bit. Whoa, we hit it.
And then we got Doctor Who right in there. We can segue into Doctor Who.
That's right, John Pertwee. Yeah.
Sorry. People are probably wondering what the.
But again, I mean, I saw something the other day with his son in Sean Pertwee, and I was shocked at how old he'd gotten. Yes. I have to say, Aaron, I was thinking of this when we're doing this historathon, and they were mentioning some historical films to watch, and they are mostly based across the pond, be it in North or Central America, and nobody mentioned Carry On Cleo, and I was thinking that's a fantastic historical film, with Kenneth Williams exactly running along as Julius Caesar going, infamy, infamy, they've all got an infamy. And also, I mean, when we get to like the the period for the French Revolution, you could watch Carry On, Don't Lose Your Heads with Monsieur Camembert and Bidet and
and for the British Army, the Khyber was it up? What is it?
Up the Khyber, yeah. Carry On Up the Khyber, yeah. And Angie's correct, yeah, exactly. Ronnie Barker was indeed Able Seaman.
Yes.
Able Seaman Barker, was he? Did he use it? Because some of them use the same names, didn't they? But he was great as well, yeah, with the voices. I think it was originally the commanding officer, I think in the first series or first and second series of Navy Lark was Dennis Price, wasn't it?
Yes, he was on there. Yeah, he was definitely on there. Yeah.
Which takes us again back to Kind Hearts and Coronets, which we talked about yesterday. You see, everything's connected. It's just
Well, that's what Mark Richardson we were talking about, because he's reading sort of letters of Evelyn Waugh, I think it is, and stuff like this, and he's going, where's all these people? Like I said, yeah, they were in bed together, literally and figuratively. Every author in their first half of the 20th century, but you just look at everything; it's all interconnected.
Well, Kind Hearts and Coronets even takes us into Dad's Army, because at the very end, in like a very small role, when he's, I don't know, what is he? He's a reporter, isn't he? He asks him that question at the end, which is like the wonderful ending of the film. Is Arthur Lowe?
Yeah. So. Well, and also too I don't want to call it a science fiction film, but
what, Kind Hearts and Coronets?
No, but who played all the characters?
Well, the man. The man's a legend. He is so versatile. He can be in like wonderful things like that. Bridge of the River, Over the River Kwai, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's
So he's
like,
like,
his memoirs are fabulous to read, because like he's like, he's reading, like, kids come out and that's all they know him for is, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's like, he's snarking at this, because I did other things.
well, I read some of actually Kenneth Williams's diaries. I mean, he was
they're insane.
brilliant actually, but he had his problems for sure. But I loved he recounted one incident, I think, with Kenneth Connor, who I loved him in Allo Allo, Kenneth Connor, but where he's like, they're filming a scene or something, and this kid comes up to him and says, "Oh, Mr. Connor, can I have your autograph?" He says, "Not now, son. I'm being directed." And the boy goes, "Are you lost then?"
Well, he was good with the with the parlay and stuff like that in the whatchamacallit series.
Round the Horn.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's Around the Horn, but also who's the guy that did the Around the Horn?
Kenneth Horn.
Kenneth Horn. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, like he was also on, like, the Kenneth Horn show or whatever,
Beyond Our Ken.
Beyond Our Ken. Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
And it's funny you mention that, because I love Christmas time on Amazon when it comes to ebooks, and they start putting them out at good prices. And I got for 99p. I'll show you, and you'll appreciate.
He's got a really good memoir. He's got a really good memoir that he did.
Well, it's not his memoir that I've got.
I think it was him. All right, let me see the cover. Oh no, I don't know that one.
So there's a biography of him. So I thought I had to pick that up because I loved Round the Horn. Beyond Our Ken was good. I think Beyond Our Ken was first.
Yeah.
But Round the Horn got me because, I mean, and some of the humor really is still good today. I mean,
well, the stuff they got away with that just went over the censors or people's heads, like
the whole gay scene.
That's what I mean. Yeah. What do they call it? Parlay or whatever?
Polari, is it? Polaris? Polari? Yeah.
Polaris.
Polari, yeah. I don't know. I can't remember. But and there was Armpit Theatre, wasn't there? And they would take a masterpiece every week and do their own version. And it was like, they did Trilby, didn't they, by Du Maurier and all sorts, yeah.
I did. Also at the same time, do you remember, oh, fuck, what's his name? It was the little guy. He was really short and he played a kid.
I didn't. No, I never. Clitheroe Kid, you mean?
Yeah, the Clitheroe Kid, yeah. But there's some good stuff in it. There's some good stuff in it.
But it's like the Goons. I never really got into the Goons as much as I enjoyed. I loved Hancock's Half Hour on the radio. I loved Round the Horn, Beyond Our Ken, Navy Lark, whatever. But the Goons, yeah, they were okay, but they were maybe just a bit out there for me sometimes. Some of the stuff was just not.
Yeah, like they all, like most of those, like Navy Lark, I could listen to a few at a time. Beyond Our Ken and Around the Horn, I could listen to a lot more. Those and Beyond Our Ken, like those, because I really think Kenneth Horn was. I don't like using the word genius, but for comedy, he was there. He was really, really good.
He was so dead. I mean, obviously deadpan. He's on radio. We can't tell, but his voice, he was just all the time, just like a normal person, and like the way he did it, it was brilliant, fantastic. Aaron's talking about Carry On, Don't Lose Your Head there with Citizen Camembert. Remember to be circumspect, the other character. Oh, I was at birth, Citizen. Yeah. Yeah. So, but that was a slight digression, I suppose. Yeah. But where were we? So Sackett's Hornblower and Les Miserables I've been reading for fictional stuff. And as you know, and you're also taking part, but you are not starting yet because we've got 3 months basically to start, is Historathon. And I've read a couple of pamphlets, we can say, on some ancient civilizations.
From Peeps. like Peeps of Nations or whatever, Peeps of Egypt.
Yeah. I haven't done it a couple of days because I think it's like 5 people watch it. So I thought I thank them so much for watching it, but I'm just taking a slight break and I'm going to carry it on over the weekend because I just ended up too busy the other couple of nights. But it's it's nice. It's interesting. I mean, it's really interesting. That's kind of the sad thing. Now I can understand if maybe people just don't want to listen to me speaking, or reading. That's fine. But the book is worth reading. It's nice. I mean, for something again early 20th century, he really tries to take you on. It's like I mentioned in my recommended TBR, these 24 hours in ancient Rome, or 24 hours, and of course there's nothing new. The Reverend Bleaky is doing this. That's what he's doing. He's putting you on the ground. He's walking you around ancient Egypt, and he's doing it in a very albeit Edwardian way, but he's doing it in a nice enough way. Before we come to your Friday reads, Sean, let's just have a quick look at the comments. Angie asks, "What do you think of Old Harry's game?"
Oh, I love Old Harry's game. Oh, it's like the BBC still knew how to make and still know how to make great radio. It disappeared in American radio in the 70s, and they tried to bring it back like in the 60s and 70s, and not near as good. But Old Harry's game, and what's the one about the I forget her name, or the name. She's a social worker. Oh, I can't think of it. But that's great. Old Harry's game is fabulous. Like Andy Hamilton as Satan is just amazing. And that's what we were talking about before. He could play Satan 60 feet tall on the radio, but he's like 3'6" in life, Oh, I can't think of her name. The other one that I thought was really good. A modern one, but they finished it. Oh, she's a social worker.
I don't know. I'm not in the UK, so let's just see. Maybe somebody mentions it here. Oliver Reed trying to drink the Lake of Fire dry. Not sure.
Yeah, he was on. I think he was a character on Old Harry's game.
Ah, okay.
Well, the big one of the great.
No, it's something different. So carry on, Sean. I'll come back to this one.
Yeah, and the answer to that probably is yes, but I'll have to.
Okay, well, do you plan to restart the read through of H.G. Wells? The answer is yes. Eventually, watch this space. Well, you can watch this space, and you'll probably learn about it. But it'd be better to watch Sean's space to get the fastest information. Aaron Hook, Jane Austen was an eye opener. So that was. That
was hilarious. Like all that stuff, but I like what's his name, Thomas. He's the worst human being that ever lived. And one of the best lines is "Claire in the community." Yes, thank you, Parliament. It's fabulous. It is fabulous. But one of his best lines, Thomas says, "You know what I like in women? Me." That was the joke, and that's on radio. You wouldn't get that on American radio or on TV. Like, there's no way they would do that.
I'm not sure we get that on BookTube. I'm going to watch the numbers. I know. I'm just going to watch the numbers plummet.
Oh, it's just hilarious.
You always save these. You always save these things for when you're on my channel.
Well, it's the conversation goes that way.
Well,
the community is fabulous. Henry Venig is just a fabulous stuff. It's too bad it's over, but it did go for a long time, and
because some things started out. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Some things were on television and went to radio or had radio spin-offs, like Dad's Army, for example. Yeah. And then you have others that started on radio and became television series, like
this started as a comic strip and then went to radio.
Because what's his name? Alan Partridge, I think, started on radio.
Yeah. Oh, Alan Partridge is fabulous.
And then you had what was it as well? Was on radio, but it didn't do so well when it went to TV. No, I can't remember. And Aaron says, Angie Jones, Satan, das Kapital, Karl Marx. Yeah. I don't get it. Satan. That's because that was a joke and you're a German.
Yeah.
Parlabane says, Cabin Pressure and Bleak Expectations are terrific too.
Yeah, Cabin Pressure. I haven't listened to them all. Bleak Expectations. I liked it, but it was a little too. It seemed too ad-libby for me. Like it was hit or miss at times. But yeah, another one that I thought was it slipped my mind. It was a newer one, but an older one is Men from the Ministry. Absolutely fabulous. Like that is just superb. It's just.
Is it Frank Thornton in that one? No.
Wilfred Hyde White started out in it, and then I forget who took over. But it's amazing. It's sort of precursor to Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister.
Frank Thornton was in the it was one of the Navy Lark spin-offs, whether it was the diplomatic one or.
Oh yeah.
But they were all right.
There was a spin-off of Dad's Army too on the radio. It Sticks Out Half a Mile.
It was called It Sticks Out Half a Mile?
Yeah. It's what's the uncle and the uncle, what's his name? Sergeant? No,
Wilson.
What's it?
Sergeant Wilson.
Yeah. And what's his name?
Yeah, Pike.
Boy, I can't remember this stuff. But they moved to another town and then what's his name? The grocer comes and he wants to buy the pier. And it's like it sticks out half a mile. Half a mile. And then what's his name? Captain.
You can't keep saying what's his name when we've now got we got like 5 people in the running here. So you mean Pike, or you mean the grocer, or you mean Wilson? Mannering, yeah.
He did one. He was in charge of a train station. That was really good too. And that had Pike on, I think, as well. Don't tell him your name, Pike.
Count Arthur Strong didn't transfer to TV very well, and Count Arthur Strong book is very funny. It works really well in audiobook.
Okay. Yeah,
what's it called? I remembered the Impressions thing with that John, what's his face? John Coleshaw. What was that called? That started out on the radio.
I'm not sure.
It was probably before your time. He had all these. He just used to do these impressions.
Giles Wembley Hogg takes off. That's amazing. It's I can't remember his name, but he's taken a tape recorder on and he's traveling, and and he records things. It's just hilarious. And he studied Canadian. Oh yeah.
No. I mean, that's what I was thinking of. That transferred to TV. Not that it was brilliant, but that's just what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Giles Wembley Hogg takes off. You were saying, yeah.
Yeah, Giles Wembley Hogg takes off because I remember the one thing, like he's Parsley Sidings. That's it. That I really like that one. And I like Dad's Army on the radio and Steptoe and Son on the radio better than the TV shows.
You dirty old man.
Yeah. No, I thought they were better. They worked better on but Steptoe and Son. There in the series, TV and or radio, there are many PhD psychological theses right in that series. Like, I mean it. It's.
I wasn't a huge fan because obviously for me all these were reruns, of course, because I'm far too young. But he kind of freaked me out a bit, old Wilfred.
Like that's the thing. It's uncomfortable.
He's horrible. He really is a dirty old man. It's.
Well, it's it's very uncomfortable the first time you watch it. You feel dirty. Like I mean, in a sense.
I shouldn't say the actor because he's probably not. I meant Steptoe Senior.
Well, he actually got caught in bathrooms, in public bathrooms.
Well, I remember I remember somebody saying when I was watching it, no names, but I think somebody said once, bear in mind this was a long time ago in the 80s, was someone mentioned something like, of course he was one of those, you know.
An actor.
Well, pretty much, yes. You know.
Okay, well, I'll go to my reading and then we'll go on to next week.
Yes.
Well, actually, I finished up The Hobbit.
The Hobbit,
we'll
yes.
talk about that in a little while, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've read a third of Count of Monte Cristo, which I really enjoy reading again. But this is a newer translation. I think I read a late Victorian translation 40 years ago or so.
So what do you think about the translation? I really like it. It's Robin Buss. Robin Buss, is it? The guy, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he does a really nice, makes it very readable.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
And they put back in all the dodgy parts that wasn't in the one you read.
Well, yeah. Well, there's hashish using, and the other thing that's really strange is, like, Edmond Dantes is 19 years old, and he wants to marry Mercedes, who's 17, and they've been going together for 4 years. Bit dodgy, but okay, fine. And then
he would have been 14. She was what, 12?
Exactly. And then there's that other like these two that were the shepherdess and a shepherd, and they were basically going at it when they were 13 years old. It's pretty clear that it's like this. I'm sure this was not in the version I read.
It's the French again. It's like with Les Miserables. It's no problem to say, oh yeah, so she took a lover and she became a prostitute. Did I say it to you? I know I said it in the group, but I was reading Our Mutual Friend.
Yeah.
Like last month. I think it's almost exactly a contemporary. I think it's 1863, 1864 as well, something like that. Charles Dickens. The most he can do is suggest that one of the male characters puts his arm around the waist of a female character. Yeah. Whereas Victor Hugo's like, no, they're all at it. This is what they did these type of girls, these grisettes or whatever he calls them, they're fun time girls and there's no hiding behind it, which the English, of course, the Victorian English, like, oh.
Yeah, but you haven't got to the ankle part yet in Les Miserables.
Ooh,
ankles.
Okay. Well, I look forward to that then.
Yeah,
some excitement on a Friday night. Just one thing before you carry on, Aaron's just mentioning about the Steptoe and Son ride again. It's one of the TV movies along with the Dad's Army film. Yeah, probably that you like. Yeah, 1971. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even watch. You can see even behind me the complete Dad's Army series, probably blurred out, but it's that thing that looks like it has different pictures on it. I wouldn't dare watch the 2016 film. I mean, you cannot replace.
I have seen it. There's a few things that are okay, but yeah, it's pretty dire. It's pretty dire. What else? Let's see. Oh, and then I read. Yeah, we talked about Midshipman Harm Blower, so I don't need to dwell on that. And then at the same time, like every day, I'm reading bits from Scottish folk and fairy tales from Burns to Buchan. And the first story is fabulous. I like these ones by what's her name, Elizabeth Grierson. And the first story is a woman. She marries this widower who has a little boy and a little girl, and she's a really good cook. And she needs something to cook to make a soup, so she chops up the little boy. And then the father is sitting there going, well, what's happened to little Jimmy or whatever his name is? And so, I don't know. And then he picks up a spoonful and there's a foot. Well, that looks like his little foot. No, it's not his foot. It's a rabbit's foot. Can't you tell the difference? And then so he continues to eat and he picks up in a hand. He goes, oh, I recognize his hand. There's a little crook in the finger. So she fed her husband, the father, the little boy, as soup.
That's from Herodotus, isn't it?
Oh, it's supposed to be Scottish. I don't remember that.
Yeah, no,
Yes, yes, yeah. I remember reading that somewhere. Yeah, okay, that's
it's
where it
not.
was.
It's not exactly the same, is it?
Yeah,
It's one of the kings does it, or one. You know,
yeah,
I can't remember the context exactly, but that's
yeah.
one of the stories Herodotus regales in the run up to the wars. Is this
Yeah.
one with
But it's just told in here. It's just told so nonchalantly, you know. But
but
then
I
he gets
came across it in something else I read, something similar as well. Um, did they mention it in Les Miserables? Not obviously somebody eating somebody, but like they mentioned that scene, like he said it's like such and such, and then in the
yeah.
footnotes it was this story again because I came across it recently. But
Okay.
you know, there you go. Yeah. So carry on.
And then well, I'll be finished tonight. Is
Did you have dinner?
what?
Did you eat dinner?
Yeah.
You weren't put off by little boy soups and stuff,
No,
no.
no, no. It's like reading Hornblower about the rice thing, and it reminded me to get rice. And then the rats go, "Oh, I need to get some mints for that too."
I don't know how that reminded you of mince, but yeah.
Well, because they probably would have got minced in the crushing. I'm finishing up Time of Hope by C.P. Snow. It's the first chronological Strangers and Brothers, and I'll do a video about this because I want to talk a little bit about it. And normally, if somebody told me of the sort of love scenes in it, not sex scenes, but the guy falling in love with a woman, I probably would say, "Oh, I don't think I like that." But he handles it so well that it's not. It's a bit OTT. It's a bit over the top, but it's all believable, and it's so good. And I'll talk more about that in a video because I want to talk about how it's set out because there's 11 books, and he'll talk about. And this is written. It wasn't the first book written, so and stories interweave with novels. So he'll even say in this, "Oh, I'm going to tell this story separately." And then so there's a whole novel, but it takes part during the time of this at some point.
Right.
And they interweave that way, which is really cool. So that's my reading this week. So it's been a good week, but
No science fiction?
No, not this week. Next week there will be. I'll just go quickly what I'm going to read next week. I'm going to start reading Pirates, True Tales.
Oh, it's thinner than I thought. I thought it was it's the other one. It's Daniel Defoe that's
yeah. And this one starts out the men. Oh no, this isn't the right one, or is it? No, that's a list of illustrations. Sorry, the pirates who captured Caesar, and then the pirates of the Saxon shore. So that'll fit in with Historathon for the first 3 months, and then for Historathon, I'll be starting to read the prehistory of Africa. And also then what else am I going to do? Well, I'm going to continue and probably finish Count of Monte Cristo. I had to look at it. Science fiction, Prelude to Foundation, Sackett's, and the first of the Dance to the Music of Time book, which is A Question of Upbringing, I think. Yes. But if I spend all the time reading Count of Monte Cristo, I might not get to one of these. I'll have to see. But yeah, that's my plans for next week.
And you're reading Count of Monte Cristo with how many other people?
3 others.
And how are they getting on with it?
I think they're starting to catch up to where I was. Scott Bryant didn't like one chapter, and I want to find out why. But they had a lot of problems with the freeze that they had there. So I'm waiting till he got done because he said he hated the chapter. He was loving the book up until then because there is a point where, oh God, there is a point where it changes focus and the character seems to change. And I was curious to see what they think about it.
What with Roger the Cabin Boy?
Yeah.
You know all that. I think it's English urban legend. You know, there was a English children's television show called Captain Pugwash.
I don't know that one.
It was, I think it was, I don't know if it was with puppets or animation. It was from the 50s, I think. And there was always this legend that grew up around it that the names of the characters were like really perverse. So there was Roger the Cabin Boy, there was Seaman Staines, and Master Bates. But I don't think it was all no, not at all, Steve. We're not deflating about it. It's just funny. We're glad to have you.
No, there's other British children's stuff that I've seen that are from the 70s or whatever, that they had to be high on drugs. Like you just look at this stuff on YouTube and you go, what were they thinking? But yeah, so what are you planning next week?
Well, I think I can safely say for the next couple of weeks, Les Miserables will probably be on my agenda because I am reading other things as well. But I'm loving it. I really, I'm going on and on about it, but I'm loving it. So I'm looking forward to the time I get to spend with Jean Valjean et al. Now, I've got a book that wasn't on my original Historathon TBR, and you're to blame for that. Though I haven't got it yet. I'm waiting for it. And it's called 1177 BC, the year civilization collapsed, and it's all about the Sea Peoples.
Okay.
Because you mentioned them, and I thought, oh, they sound interesting. Though it does sound like a crappy name to me. I mean, it could be a good name, but it's also like, couldn't you come up with something better than Sea Peoples?
Well, blame Gaston. What's his name? I can't think of his name now.
Gaston Leroux?
No, I can't think of his name.
Glad to have you in the title of one of my chapters. Yeah, I can quote from it verbatim.
But yeah, and then you're getting another one, aren't you? As well.
The Ancient Egypt one?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that, but I'm not going to read it because I think it won't be until the last 3 months. I don't know when it will start because I don't know when the golden age of Egyptology is.
Oh, well,
mid-20th century?
Yeah, but they'll be talking about things that are prehistoric, sort of,
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, some of it does look interesting. There was one called The Darkening Age I fancied, which was about Christianity's effect on the ancient or classical world, but it got really mixed reviews, so I wasn't sure about that one. But the author of this 1177 BC one, he's got a book that I thought about you as well, actually. It's called Digging for Armageddon. And it's about a 1920s expedition of American archaeologists to Megiddo.
Yeah.
And like they left like a plethora of like letters and journals and all this stuff, and he goes through it all, and it sounds very interesting.
The Amarna letters that was between Egypt and there. They're really fascinating stuff. The letters.
And the problem I've got is these, I picked up a book about diseases from the ancient world through to COVID-19 pandemic, but it was very good, easy to read, but the ancient world was covered in the first chapter. And then I felt like, well, should I just carry on and read the book, or should I just read the next chapter in the next part of the session? Because again, we were talking, I think it was with Elizabeth when she was saying about some history books, the way it's split up, we don't really need to read them from cover to cover. So I could just, read like an essay if you like. So what we got here? Steve says, didn't Barry Cunliffe, I was going to say, Cunliffe write a bunch of books about the Sea Peoples. Am I remembering that right? I don't know, Steve.
I
Is
think
he?
he did do something about the Sea Peoples. There's a lot of people that have written about the Sea Peoples because it's I can't think of his last name. It's the guy who Maspero, Gaston Maspero, coined the term Sea Peoples, but they're called other things too. I just can't.
It's not really a term you should be proud of coining, right? I mean, if they're people and they come from the sea, and you're like,
well, see,
Peoples.
nobody knows who they are. They really don't know who they are. They were probably just from all nations of the time, and they were their own. They were pirates in a sense. They could.
Yes, Eric Klein, you're correct there. And Aaron, you've just given away that you must have stepped away from the chat for a bit, because I already brought up Roger the Cabin Boy, Master Bates, and Seaman Staines. Dear. But no, yes. So, in terms of actual reading, I suppose. Well, it's next week, isn't it? So I'm done. I'll be done with Hornblower and Sackett by next week, right? So it'd be the next month I have to carry on with that. So that's right. Then I think it'll be a pirate. The pirates will be covered with the Sea Peoples. You see, that's covering both those avenues. So Les Mis, 1177. And I will probably. I keep looking at the Confessions of St. Augustine. Which is annoying me because it was a good deal on the Penguin ebook, but for some horrible reason they haven't indexed it or put the contents in, which is very annoying, even for a Penguin. So I started to think it was fake, but it wasn't. It's obviously an oversight. I'm thinking about that. I don't know. There's so much. I'm not thinking too far ahead. I'm such a mood. I've got my TBR, but
I got lots for January.
Most of that TBR will be from February onwards, because I have the readings of Xenophon with Stephanie and Vin. So
I'm going to be reading like every week.
The Sea Peoples were me and Deb.
But yeah, every week I'm reading a series, and I think I'm going to add one for the fourth week. Fu Manchu.
Hi, Mark. So we got Mark and Stephen as well in the house. There we go.
We just need
like most of the pirate group. We just need Brandy and I don't know. Got Augustine is a city in Florida. It's Augustine. Did someone say Augustine? Oh, me. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Augustine.
Yeah. Augustine. Apologies. So yeah. Augustine. Confessions. I don't know. I don't know if it's good.
Do City of God.
City of God's better?
I think it is, but it's about 1,000 pages long.
Yeah, well, that can wait, maybe.
And well, it's another one. Like nobody's mentioned that. Nobody's mentioned Josephus Wars, the wars.
I'm glad you mentioned it was your kids you were waiting for, Mark. You don't want to be hanging around, schools if you weren't waiting for your kids. The Penguins and Augustine ebook. Well, I have the Penguin. The Penguin City of Confessions, and I think maybe I got City of God. They were both like 99 pence at Christmas or New Year. But as I said, the weird thing with Confessions is there's no contents. It just says cover, and that's it. And then when you're reading the book, you can't see how many pages you are. It's only got 2 pages in the book, but it hasn't. The whole book is there, but it shows as the count as 2 pages. It's just that the 2 pages. So I really don't know what's wrong with it. But then when I really looked through the comments, no one else had really mentioned it because, of course, they collect all the different reviews for every edition. That's the problem with these things. And then somebody from Canada, bizarrely, said, "Oh yeah, there's no proper contents." If I'd seen that, it would have annoyed me. But yeah, but I don't know if it's different, Steve. Then that would be nice of you. But if it's the same one,
and
then
you tried it
I've
on
already
the
got
other
it.
e-reader, or can you try it on that Moon Plus? Because that seems to pull up stuff that may not be on. Oh, but then if it's made for Kindle, it should be there, I guess.
That's what I mean. It is bought from Amazon, so what have we got? Have to use precise language. Hey, I've done that parking lot waiting with you. Is this the one with a clear shot view of the mountain? All right. I don't think you started it, Brian. I think it's been going on for a while.
Oh, okay. No, I think it
Starting
was
on. Sorry. See, I can't read. I can't speak.
No, I think I'm trying to think of the translator that I had. Was it Howitt? Or no? What's the 19th century?
Kind of you. Sorry, go on.
Steve, what's the 19th century translator for Jowett? Jowett. That's it. That's who I read. The Jewish War. Jowett's translation. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 19th century one. He was, I think, the translator at the time. Oh, Winston, and then there's Winston as well. Yes. Or am I thinking of Jowett did something else then? Yeah, it might have been Winston.
Oh, it's the mountain. Okay, sorry, no, I'm out of order here. We were there one time when you showed me the great live shipping phone, utterly mesmerizing. I remember. So it's very romantic, guys. Yeah, have a look at this. Oh yeah, it's live shipping. Oh, lovely. No, but thank you, Steve. That's very kind of you. I'll certainly let you know if there's anything I need. But it does annoy me. I mean, luckily I didn't have to pay anything more than like whatever it was, 99 pence for it. But as it is Penguin, I would have expected.
Jowett did Plato. Yes, Jowett did Plato. That's right.
Them to have it properly. So, but Amazon these days. Look at my situation with the Mysteries of Paris yesterday. So.
Oh yeah. Well, that's when you read that. Jowett did Plato. Yeah.
Did Plato mind? Was it uncomfortable?
Yeah. My memory is fractious at times, but yeah, when you read Mysteries of Paris,
it's Plato.
When you read Mysteries of Paris, you'll find a lot of things that are very similar, or it has a feel of Les Miserables, but Les Miserables came later.
Well, yeah, but they put the blurb on the back. They said, the novel that inspired Les Miserables. So
yeah,
I expect it to be
okay. And then, but then, if you read The Mayor of Casterbridge, he just stole a lot of things from Les Miserables. It's again, Hardy just lifted stuff almost right from. I think anyway, when I read it, and I go, this sounds awful familiar. Oh yes, it's Les Miserables.
So it's very interesting then. When was The Mayor of Casterbridge written?
Would have been late 1800s. I don't know. Yeah, I think so. You have to look it up. It's probably 1880s or 18.
I'm just curious because Thomas Hardy's wife did one of the first English translations of Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, I'm assuming then she was into French literature, so it probably means she probably had a, copy of Les Miserables hanging around, and he was looking at it, and he thought, yeah, I'm gonna nick that and stick it in my.
Well, I think didn't Hugo finish writing while he was sort of in exile a little bit on the Isle of Jersey or one of the islands there? I think.
You shouldn't read Mysteries of Paris. It's 1,000 pages of crap.
It's not.
No, luckily, I ended up getting the book for free. So
now, what about Mysteries of London? Have you read that? That's 2 or 3 or 4 books of 1,000 pages each.
Who wrote that?
Oh, it's is it the same? Oh, I can't remember his name. Is it the same? No, he was more popular than Dickens at the time. Was it the same guy who wrote?
Not Wilkie Collins, no.
No. Is it the same guy who wrote Varney the Vampire? Maybe I can't remember now.
All right.
But he wrote. I can't think of the name now.
Yeah, something like that. No, I mean, Les Miserables, it's great. It's great. I mean, I'm sure Steve has, of course, read the Christine Donahue translation. But I see, the problem is I can't compare it. Now, Steve, if you're still here, how would you rate that translation? Because it's the first time I've read it, and I'm finding it very readable and very nice. But you probably read a few translations in your 28 years, so I just wonder.
Yeah, I can't remember who the other guy. It was done first, I think, for Folio Society in the 70s, and then Penguin took it up. That's the one I am familiar with. The Charles Wilbur, I think, is the first American one. I thought it was very clunky.
Well, yeah, Dance to the Music of Time is on the radar. Sean might actually start reading it next week.
I'm starting to read that next week. It'll be the fourth time attempting it. I'm reading this week, like first week of every month. I'm doing Strangers and Brothers, and I just love that. It's like, to me, it's like Dance to the Music of Time has nothing to hold for the Strangers and Brothers, but I know Steve feels the opposite way. I just don't see much in so far.
You see, yes,
yes. I was thinking Reimer, but it is Reynolds. I had the initial right, or correct.
I should have run my French list by Steve as well then before I don't know. I think the others will be good. I mean, what have we got? Candide in February, Madame Bovary, Dangerous Liaisons, Cyrano de Bergerac, Charterhouse of Parma, Pantagruel, Gargantua, Mysteries of Paris, Phantom of the Opera, The Quarterback of Notre Dame. Yeah. So what have we got here? CP Snow is also excellent. Well, I am tempted, I have to say.
No, I like it's about the fourth or fifth time. Hi, Shirley. Yeah, no, I really like Strangers and Brothers, and I'm really hoping that if I can get past book 3 of Dance to the Music of Time on my fourth try, that actually when I finish it, I might think it the same thing of it. But I so far have floundered every time. There's always been something that stopped me from continuing. So that's why I've decided to do once a month. So that way it's just it's an afternoon, a day's reading each book, and that's it. And then I'm not doing it too close together. But the Strangers and Brothers, like, I've got only like 20 or 30 pages left of the first one. I want to pick up the second one immediately. And that's how much I like it.
I'm not sure, Shirley. I know what you mean. May I ask what are Leo's current feelings and intentions towards me? I don't know what you mean there. Sorry. Sean, how on earth you've kept that trade paperback in such pristine shape is beyond me.
Which
well, you just got it, didn't you? The CP Snow one.
No, that's the fourth.
Oh, you were talking about it yesterday. You were saying how good it was.
This is the fourth reading of it. It's really well made. It's House of Stratos. There's a new one out by Bilbo or something like that, but it's print on demand as well. But these are perfect. This is the fourth read. I've still got like probably many reads out of this.
Oh, no problem, Shirley. Don't worry about it. Yeah, well, I'll be lucky. I mean, certainly the quality of the Penguin book of Mysteries of Paris is a piece of crap. So,
well, the other thing is too with this one. Usually, as you're reading it, the page edges get a little grayed because of your fingers, I guess, getting some of the ink off. This doesn't have that.
And it's a what you call it?
It is Amazon printed in Germany.
Oh, you
But
thought a tarot reading channel? Okay, no, we do have some of our friends on here who do that, but no, we're not. I know, Sean, this guy here maybe looks like some kind of tarot card reader master, but no, sorry, Shirley. But good luck with Leo. Hope it works out for you. Stick with dance. Once you get to Windermere Pool's first distraction, you'll stay to the end. There you go.
Okay, well, I hope so. Yeah.
I cannot read. I tell you, I'm losing my mind.
But no, yeah, I am determined this time to do it. But as I say, I'm doing it in small bites. So it'll be the second week of every month.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, yeah, because bless her, she saw probably the Friday night live reads or Friday reads live. So it could be tarot reading if you were. Yeah.
Okay.
See? There we go. Oh.
Well, I put down dueling Friday reads.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But the thing is, if we had Scott on here or someone, he could have done it probably. Or Alan, we get Alan in to read Shirley's tarot reading. So yeah, dear. So yeah, anything else? Is that it with you, Sean, in terms of what you're reading next week?
Yeah, next week. I don't know. Is anybody interested in what I have for the rest of the month?
See, I'd kind of like to know what Steve's going to read because we haven't seen him for so long.
Oh well, he said, "Well, when are you going to do this?" Well, he'll probably burn through. Dance to the Music of Time. The books are progressively better. The characters get older. The opposite
brideshead. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad of that. So that makes me feel better because it's something that I've never because they're the two things that they always, if one talks about Dance to the Music of Time, they always are a lot of times refer to Strangers and Brothers and vice versa. But I've never read it. So yeah. Also I'm doing the third week. I'm doing the Zola's Marquette Rougon or whatever it is series. Be rereading To the Lighthouse, Rendezvous with Rama, Forward the Foundation, Prester John.
And that's all in the third week.
No, for the whole month.
Okay.
And then a couple other science fiction ones. Yeah, and then some history. So it's by the time I'm done, if I get everything done, and I'm including maybe Les Miserables, so it'll be 20 books this month, but with Count and Les Miserables. But I don't think I can do that with Les Mis. That'll dip into February. So then I'll be on track with yours because Candide is 2 hours reading, I think, if I remember the length of it. But then I got to get a different translation now. I forget. I looked it up and I forgot the guy's name again who did the first translation of Gargantua and Pantagruel. It might be the one I have up there. Hopefully I can get it. I do have an older one, and I thought it might be interesting to read it.
Everyone says let's read Screech. So.
Oh, it is. Yeah, that is the best one. But I just read it last year.
Oh, yeah.
So I figured I might as well read a different translation. Yeah, I love it. I love it as a book. Steve doesn't think too much of it, but if you like Steve, you should. Oh yeah, Paradise. Yeah, Paradise Postponed and Paradise Regained. Is it Paradise Regained?
Is that Rumpole more?
No. It's yeah. Well, it's he wrote Rumpole.
Oh, okay.
What's the second one called?
Well, no, you're thinking of Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained.
Yeah. No. It's I can't remember. It's the guy's name. Is the second one, but no, that is Paradise But I do want to reread that.
I think it's the words I hear you say the most, Sean.
What?
Reread. It's like you've read everything, and all you're doing is just rereading things now.
I am rereading. Like I'm in a huge reread phase. Yeah.
I mean,
and there are some new things like Charterhouse of Parma will be new.
See, I'm scared to talk about it now because people probably come in. It's a load of crap. Don't waste the time with it.
Well, the red and the black I can't stand, or I didn't like. So I gave up on Stendhal, but I do want to try Charterhouse of Parma. And then the other one, the first novel written by Guy de Maupassant. That one.
I think that would be fun. I like him.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Huh. Paradise Postponed. It's Paradise Postponed, and there was obviously a film or a series, and it had Michael Horndon in it.
Yeah, no, it was really, really good. It was really good because I love the character.
Titmus, is it? Titmus Regained.
That's it. Yeah. There's a character in there. He plays like 20s jazz, and he likes records, and he likes the scratchy sound on the 78s. And I remember that, and I just thought, yes, he's my kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm just saving that.
No, it is fabulous. It's a fabulous book. Well, I like everything. I've read everything by John Mortimer, even his weird memoirs. No, I hated Red and the Black. But again, I read that 35 years ago or so.
See, now I'm thinking I made a mistake because I removed it from my list on your.
I told you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I can still read it. I just won't read it with you. So it's fine.
Well, if you do read it, I might try to reread it just because, as I say, I'm trying other things, but I still got to finish Sense and Sensibility, and I'm struggling finishing that.
No, I read it in Chinese, Steve. Fantastic.
I just didn't like it. It's like the guy going, oh, I'm gonna kill myself. If she doesn't love me, I'm gonna kill myself.
But in French, it would be so much nicer.
Yeah, no, it's just, I just didn't like it. But again, like I say, it's a lot of things. Like I didn't like George Orwell at all because all I read was 1984 and Animal Farm, and I still think they're those weakest books. They're important books, but they're shoddily written. They're better ones are much better, like Coming Up for Air, or that's much better, and Keep the Apodistra Flying. They're much better books, and even The Clergyman's Daughter. But yeah, it's just. But again, it's like I'm retesting these. Like I got to get back. I got to finish Sense and Sensibility and then move on to the next one. But I can't remember which the next one is in order.
Angie, I read that like in November, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. At first, I was thinking I was dragging on a bit, and how did you? My problem with it was I thought it was really interesting how she imagined the time travel and all this kind of stuff. Yet she wasn't able to imagine mobile telephones. It's really weird because she writes this book in like 1992, so it's not like mobile telephones. It's a giant leap, of the imagination, and yet the whole book is basically people missing phone calls or not being able to get through the telephone exchange to deal with stuff. So it could have probably been a bit shorter, but I really liked it. And we have a science fiction book club, and I'm very new to science fiction. I'm not a big science fiction reader at all. But I did choose as my pick. I chose To Say Nothing of the Dog. So I'm hoping that will get chosen by the club to read it because I want to read
tell everybody that.
Sorry?
You weren't supposed to tell everybody that.
Nobody's watching, and everybody knows anyway because I posted it to the group.
I want to give Steve now an apoplectic fit. I read The Hobbit. And I didn't think much of The Hobbit either, Steve.
Yeah. But no, I'm actually pleased that I've read a book that other people have read. So
Yeah, the book is
do you,
good.
but do you often change your mind? Angie asked the question. So do you often change your mind about a book midway through? I don't know if it's often, but it does happen, definitely.
Well, it did with The Hobbit for me a little bit, because I didn't like it at the beginning until they got into I always want to say Milkwood, Mirkwood,
Yeah.
and because I was really wanting them to throw Bilbo down to the wolves. I really wanted them, or not to pull him up into the tree, and I was sort of rooting for that.
Shared screen time at no time. Yeah, exactly. That's it. I mean, a lot of that could have been resolved, but I found the parts in the Black Death just brilliant. It was really well done and very atmospheric. I loved it, and I'm it's nice to see Steve also liked it, so it does make me feel a bit better.
Well, I liked it too.
There. Had you read Doomsday book?
Yes.
I thought you hadn't read Connie Willis. You haven't read the second one?
No, I haven't read the second one.
Oh, okay, so right. And Steve, have you read To Say Nothing of the Dog? Is that as good? I don't know. People say it's funny. It's very different in tone, but yeah. Oh well, if it never gets picked for my, or if it gets picked for the book club, then we should read it. And yes, in so many other cases, Willis predicts some future day. Yeah, I mean, some of it was really brilliant. I mean, she went into really, small details about things, but.
Well, look at Cold Comfort Farm. You got video things, and that was done early.
Well, this is the weird thing about it, because she basically talks about COVID, because of the loo rolls, the masks, all this stuff, and Brexit, because the people are blaming immigrants for this disease, or whatever it is, pandemic or epidemic, and they want Britain, or they want Britain to leave the European community, of course, as it was at the time. So I thought that was brilliant. It was like, oh, there we go. Oh, sugar. Yeah, I did, Steve. Yeah, I did ask you if you'd read To Say Nothing of the Dog.
I guess Steve's not. I'm not baiting him with The Hobbit, I guess.
Well, somebody's bound to ask you. We've got it over with. I'm sorry, and I'm glad to be your first, at least of this year. My go-to example is always Thrice Upon a Time by Sean's beloved James Hogan, set in the very, very near future. But although there are hover cars, there's no internet.
Yeah, but he does have internet of a sort in the later Giants things, because the guy gets caught up in the internet. But it's not called the internet so much.
What's it called? The interweb?
No, I forget what he calls it, but yeah, that's something else. I'm trying to assemble slowly all of James P. Hogan's books and read them through. I think Genesis Machine was the first his first book. I like Proteus Operation. And the what's it, Enigma? Something that was a good one. I like that one. That was near future. But Giants trilogy is the best.
And when you say near future, what do you mean?
Well, like now. It was happening now, I think. Or maybe we've even passed it.
Yeah. I've read everything by Connie Willis in manuscript, and we were married, and we had children. One of those children is you? Well, I've always thought something was not quite right. So there we go.
No, she is a good writer. But as I say, I haven't read everything by her.
Well, you were part of the reason I ended up reading it, Gareth, because you mentioned it in New Was November, and I knew about To Say Nothing of the Dog. And of course, for obvious reasons, it appealed to me. And then you said I didn't have to read the first one because it wasn't so linked, but I thought I would anyway. So I went ahead and read it and got both of them. And I really enjoyed it.
End of.
pretty much. I spoke about it a lot in my first time travel video. Where did you travel to?
Michael K. Vaughan did.
Where did he go?
Roger was is a Time Lord.
Roger.
Isn't that what?
Lord?
Isn't Roger the Roger Hotep?
Yeah.
Michael K. Vaughan.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't hear who was the Time Lord, Roger or Michael.
Roger.
Uh-huh. Oh, you went to 1348 as well. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. There you go, you see. It's The Hobbit. Not Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm surprised at this, but yeah, I when I put it down after 30 or 40 pages, I sort of thought, well, I'm not going to rush into The Hobbit. I mean, Lord of the Rings. But then as I finished it, I go, well, I probably will read maybe this year Lord of the Rings, but I'm still not rushing into it.
Lord of the Rings, December. I'm not.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
That has a good thing for me. I mean, I've got The Hunchback in December as well. I thought I'd start the year with Victor Hugo and end the year with Victor Hugo. So,
it's short.
Well, shorter. Everything is short in comparison with that.
I've still got to fit in War and Peace sometime. I haven't read that.
Ever?
No, I haven't read War and Peace.
I need to read it.
And I was supposed to reread, like I had 2 chances last year to reread Middlemarch, and I never did.
What about Clarissa?
You want me to get shingles again, don't you?
Well, I mean, it's been the French this year, so we could do the Russians next year if it's not too politically delicate to do them next year, depending what they get up to this year. So
you can add in Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago. I want to reread that.
Abridged, of course.
No.
I think once you fall in love with the serious adult high fantasy addiction of 9/10 of Lord of the Rings, the kids' book tone of The Hobbit can wear a bit thin. Yeah, so there you go. So, Sean, you haven't read War and Peace. What about Anna Karenina?
Nope.
Master and Margarita?
Nope.
Any Russian work?
My Russian literature. What?
Crime and Punishment?
Yes, I read that. But I haven't read, like, for some reason, Russian literature just didn't come into my radar, because when I after reading Jane Austen, all that stuff at the time, and I left it, I went to the French. I went to 19th century French, and I read tons of Balzac, Victor Hugo, Dumas, on and on and on. I read tons of French stuff. And that's where I spent all my reading for 19th century, with a little bit of Dickens, a little bit of Trollope. But
they used to like hearing Balzac, Dickens, and Trollops all talked about in one.
Yeah. But no, and then for some reason Russians didn't get a look in, other than Solzhenitsyn. And I want to really read. I want to read his what is it called? The Wheel? Is it called no? People know that.
1914 and whatever. Yeah, this.
Yeah. But it's called the cycle.
You're running out of time to read War and Peace. Good God, man! You've had 3 near-death experiences just in this live stream.
Well, I should be able to put it in sometime this year, I think.
Stay away from the light, Sean.
But I'm not gonna try Clarissa though again for a while. I don't need shingles again.
But I think
that might need some explanation.
I think that's fair enough. I mean, to find yourself kind of concentrating more on one thing than the other. I mean, the French, these are all new to me. You know, every book that I mentioned on the French reading, with the exception of the Three Musketeers, but even then, I'm pretty sure I
Well,
didn't read.
the thing is, they're all new books to me.
Completely new to me, so I haven't
They're
read
new
them.
books. They're new books to me as well because they're different translations. So
Yeah.
you can look at it that way. Like when I've read Gargantua and Pantagruel like 5 times, I think 4 or 5 times. But reading the Screech was like reading a different thing, and reading Count of Monte Cristo now is like reading a different book. And I'm sure Les Miserables will feel the same, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And Three Musketeers, Lawrence Fishburne, no, Lawrence Ellsworth, is that right, or Ellsworth Lawrence? I can't remember.
No, it's Lawrence Ellsworth, I think.
Yeah, and so I want to read that. But he also did 3 slim volumes that about the Three Musketeers himself, and he says you can intersperse the chapters, read a chapter in Three Musketeers and read his chapters. Prior to don't start what today?
War and Peace.
Oh yeah, well yeah. It's as I say, it's on. It could be very well sometime because right now the 2 big rereading Count of Monte Cristo and then Les Miserables to get caught up. So,
did he write? Did Tolstoy write War and Peace in French or Russian?
Russian.
I know well, yeah, but I know they used Russian. The aristocrats and whatever used French, didn't they, mostly? So did he actually?
Oh, I just assumed it was.
Oh my God, Steve! I had no idea that that's coming.
What?
Ellsworth translation of Count of Monte Cristo was 1,700 pages and illustrations.
When?
Yeah. I want it now.
I was gonna wait for that, but I thought he would be finishing the Three Musketeers cycle first, which means another couple of years.
Oh, maybe it still is.
Oh, I'm definitely getting that. Did he pull everything from the? I guess he must be pulling the stuff from the periodicals, the serialization of it. Because that's the only way that I think he can add more stuff, unless there's manuscripts.
I mean, it is quite a cool story, isn't it? I mean, he literally learned French in order to do this, right?
Okay, I didn't know.
Didn't he? I mean, I'm sure I read somewhere that he wanted to. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah. So when is Count of Monte Cristo? Like when does he? Is there a sort of a rough date that's coming out? It's got to be in two volumes or 3.
No, there's nothing about it yet. So
are you just making that up, Steve?
no. It comes up as a search term, but there's nothing saying like. What's he doing? Elvis. What's he doing? It just annoys me. You can't get all the Musketeers in the same format at the moment, unless they re-release them. You know, it's hard to get.
He's translating them, so you will. They will be.
You can't unless you remortgage your house. You can't get one of them in hardback anymore.
Oh, I've got them all. I bought them as they've come out.
Well, yeah, you would have done because, you know.
And I plan on doing the rest.
Well, if you do die during the course of this live stream, will you say on record now that you'll just let me take them?
I'm being buried with them.
Okay.
No, I don't know when. There must be a new one coming out this year. There must be a new one coming out this year, but I don't know.
Have you read them?
No, his translation? No.
Yeah. So they could be utter crap.
I've read bits of them and they look really good.
Okay.
Because I've got a set of, it's 20 some. The only thing it's missing is 2 volumes of Count of Monte Cristo. It was a set that was done and it had its own little bookcase, and they're in black, sort of clothish type thing from the 30s, I think. They're creaky translations, but I pieced together this a few years ago.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to, because I've never read the full whatchamacallit.
Oh, with friends like this, Sean.
So that means 22:30.
What, in like an hour and 5 minutes or whatever it is? Oh dear, yeah. But what would you? What off the top of your head? I suppose I've got kind of last question because I really didn't think we'd still be going 2 hours almost. But what would you love to see a new translation of? What old classic or something that you would really love to see done?
Oh, I'd have to really think about that. I'm not sure.
What about you, Steve? What would you like to see a brand new translation of?
I'd love to see a lot more ancient stuff done, like hieroglyph stuff, like and Akkadian stuff, and the Amarna letters, and like with more sort of accessible editions, the Ugaritic texts, all sorts of stuff like that. But as a novel, I don't know. I'd have to really think about that. Oh, I know. Well, there's lots. I'd love to see more Balzac being
You would.
and Jules Verne
Jules Verne, I was thinking of myself.
Yeah, but no specific book. But I would love to see
all of them,
more new translations.
all of them redone, retranslated. Yeah.
But yeah, I can't think of anything else. But the University of Notre Dame is doing the Solzhenitsyn cycle thing. Ooh, yeah. Oh, what it isn't the Oak Knoll? Is it? No, not Oak Knoll. What's the Harvard does the Loeb classics? What's the medieval one? Oak is in the title, isn't it? Didn't they do a Geoffrey of Monmouth?
I don't know.
Oh, I can't think of the name of the series.
Look at
Not
the
the
penguin.
Patty Library, because that's Renaissance. I can't think of the Dunbarton Library. I thought they did the Geoffrey. What?
Oaks in the title there, is it?
Well, I thought, is it Dunbarton Oaks or something? It could be. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
But I thought they did one. Come on, Steve, answer. You should know. You get don't you get all the review copies of those? The Taddy Library and Loeb and the Dunbarton. It is Dunbarton Oaks, I think. And then they've started a Sanskrit one too, which I've got 50 volumes of the original one that was being done
in Sanskrit.
On one page Sanskrit and English on the other. Mm-hmm. But they didn't complete a lot of the stuff. Like they're sort of left hanging, and then they now took over and they're reusing, I think, a lot of the texts. Oh, okay. Because I've got the Carmina Burana text, the 2 volumes. That Dunbarton. It is Dunbarton. I'm sure it's Dunbarton Oaks.
What is it? Dumbarton Oaks.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Dunbarton Oaks.
Dumbarton Oaks. It's a museum. There's a conference. Nothing about books.
Okay. But yeah, it's just my memory is it's there, and I just can't pull it out. And then when I do pull it out, it's a 50
get arrested.
chance it's wrong. That's COVID. That's COVID for you.
I wasn't laughing at the COVID. It's like I can't pull it out, and when I do pull it out, I said, "Oh, you get arrested." So I was like,
"Well, it depends on what I say."
I wasn't talking about words. It is Dumbarton Oaks. You're right. Why on earth would I type in Dumbarton Oaks? I just get Dumbarton Oaks Museum in Washington, D.C. Nothing about books.
There's quite a few of those volumes I do want to get, but they're pricey. I want to get the
they are expensive.
I want to get the Rule of Saint Benedict that they do.
A commentary on the Old English and Anglo-Latin riddle tradition.
What's that?
That's one of these Dumbarton Oaks books.
Oh, okay.
The life.
There's quite a few Taddy Library ones that are cool too. I can't think. See, that's the thing. I start doing it, and I got the name, and then it just doesn't come. Never mind. It's frustrating. I know it's there, and when it's the first few words that come out of my mouth, it's there, and then it's gone.
Not when we can help it, Steve.
What's that? People pay for, yeah. Oh, Steve, did you ever get the final volume of Henry James? Might as well ask you here.
The final volume of... Oh, yeah. From the Brattle.
Yeah.
I don't understand Elvis, right? He has to be let through into that room to go and drink water. But he has water, exactly the same water, the same age, just over there as well. So he has two water stations, and he had to choose the one to which the door was shut to. Typical. Right. Seems to be slowing down a bit. And I need to get back to...
Well, Steve hasn't answered my question yet.
No, he's done a runner.
Send me a message. Yeah, no, it's longer than expected. I've got some books to move, piles to move.
Oh my God. You don't want to see it. This will be the final thing that got you.
Okay.
Steve, that wasn't very well done, That's it. Sean's brokenhearted.
Well, I've only been waiting to get it for about 25 years or so, and
can wait another 25 years.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they fired that employee, Steve. Just some things are unforgivable. I'm not sure, Angie, which question. The one he asked, it was to do with a collection of Henry James. What was it? Henry James's
biography, 5-volume biography.
5-volume biography. Steve had found 4 volumes in the Brattle. I was waiting on the 5th, but in the meantime, some new employee cleared out the 4 volumes. So, well, yeah, be positive, Sean. they'll turn up again. The Brattle will provide. You know what's going to happen though? Going to find the fifth volume is going to come up, and
Oh yeah, that'll happen. Yeah,
we have to wait 20 years.
Well, that's what happened to another one. Like I've got a set of I'm missing like 1 or 2 volumes. It's a cathedral set, little green volumes. I forget the name of them. And then there was a complimentary set for Europe, red ones. And I asked the bookseller to put them aside, and he said he did. And then some young woman came in, smiled at him, and saw them on the reserve shelf, and he sold them to her.
Oh my God. What was it?
What?
What was it that he
It was
sold?
just a set of European cathedral volumes. They're just small ones. I've got the English one. I'm missing 2 of them, I think. But there was the complete 10 volumes. They're just small, and they were
Well,
only.
I hope you took away your business from him.
Yeah, well,
No?
I wasn't pleased.
Hmm.
I told Shaw I wanted to fire. You mean equip? Can I fire you instead?
Yes, it is, Angie. It is sad, you know. But there we go. So, ladies and gents, and everybody else, I think that's probably it from us. Coming up to almost 2 hours, and I have to get back to Fantine and Jean Valjean before I fall asleep.
And if anybody likes the idea of us doing Friday reads this way, let us know. And other things. It wasn't streamlined, obviously.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we can get a guest on from time to time to do their Friday reads with us.
Yeah.
We're only 6 days in, Steve. It's not been a week. I know it might seem like a long time, but
I haven't been to a bookstore since beginning of August 2020. So there you go. What the heck is that? That's
the rabbit.
Gary.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. Steve will join us for Friday reads next time. So there you go. Lovely, cool. Lovely. And thank you, Gareth. Yes, thanks for coming. Thank you, Steve. Thanks, Angie. Thanks, Sonia, if you're still here, and Darren, and anybody else.
They've all fallen asleep.
Joined in. Yeah, I wonder if MP's still up, or whether we did send him to sleep at the beginning of his shift. Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your day if you still have part of the day left. Otherwise, have a good evening, and you will see us, I'm sure, very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.